It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the best show you'll ever know, the Dep Lewis Show, episode 85. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, July 14th, 2024. A great day for a podcast about video games and much more. So welcome to the show. Hope you've been doing great out there in the world. Been doing great over here, and I'm here to tell you about all the interesting things of the week. So that's what I'm here to do. So the first order of business I'd like to ask you to do, besides just listening to this wonderful podcast like you're already doing, is please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. So make sure you're finding the best place to listen to it weekly, and all the options should be available. And also, if you'd like to support the show financially, at Dep Lewis Show on Venmo is available for direct payments. That is very new. I've set that up just as a way for like a tip jar, or if you just really enjoy the show and want to support with some cold hard cash, that would be a direct way to do it. So at Dep Lewis Show on Venmo. And then also I have patreon.com/Dep Lewis Show if you'd like to subscribe monthly. So that's been going on, and I'll tell you more about that at the end. So I appreciate any funds on Venmo, and I also plan to develop the Patreon offerings over time. So go check out the Patreon if you'd like to subscribe monthly. It's $1 a month right now for the ground floor tier, and then there's also the Venmo option. So those are the two new offerings for the Dep Lewis Show, trying to monetize this wonderful podcast. So the show today, so I can tell you about what's going on, is going to have 3 sections. The first section will be what I've been playing. So I'm going to tell you about what video games are going on with me, what's in my rotation, what I've been enjoying. So I have a lot of Final Fantasy to talk about today. That's the main plan in the first section. And the second section of the show today is the Miscellaneous Talk section, or the mid section, where I tell you about all the video game news of the world, all the video game happenings. So that's really going to keep you up to date with what's going on, all the things I find interesting, and hopefully you do as well. So I'm going to tell you about some releases. There's a beta going on. There's some pricing changes. There's been some teaser trailers. There's some other stuff going on. So I'm going to tell you a lot of information in the mid section of the show today. And the final section of the show is the Miscellaneous Talk section, so a sort of catch-all for anything else I want to talk to you about outside the video game world. So that one usually leans heavy in the sports world, and today is no different. We're going to talk about the sports in the Miscellaneous Talk section. So that's the plan for the Dep Lewis Show. I've changed the intro up a little bit. I'm trying to focus more on the platforms I'm just using, so that's why you're hearing the Venmo stuff and the Patreon stuff a little bit differently. I need to clean the Patreon stuff up. There's what my note to myself here as I'm recording, but Dep Lewis Show podcast available anywhere you can find it. That's the main thing. And then if you'd like to support in another way, Dep Lewis Show on Venmo for a one-time kind of support, and then patreon.com if you'd like to subscribe monthly. So anything you do for the Dep Lewis Show and myself is greatly appreciated. So just thank you for being here today. So let's see here. So I've told you about the show. I have nothing specific to highlight besides that change to the intro. So I've been rolling with that same intro for a while, changing it up, and I think it'll be a little bit different next week too. But I still want to highlight these certain things I'm talking about. So let's get into video games. So what have I been playing? I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy. I completed Final Fantasy VII Remake. I guess it was last week or the week prior. So I moved on to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So finally a game from 2024 that I am committed to finishing. So I played a few games in 2024, but this will be the first one I'm hopefully going to finish. And I've been really enjoying the intro to this game. So I didn't really mainline myself through Final Fantasy VII Remake, but I did play it a little more rushed than I would normally because I wanted to get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I was hearing is so much better in a lot of ways. And if you're enjoying Remake, you're going to be loving Rebirth. So I wanted to take the time with this game instead, since it's a new release. So I've really been doing that. I'm probably 4 hours in or something like that. I'm in the first area, or I guess not the first area, but you get to a city called Calm that starts with a K, and you get to explore around there, do some side missions, and you get to finally learn how to play Queen's Blood and things like that. So it's kind of the first time the game opens up to you after the Sephiroth intro mission kind of thing. And I believe you can see most of that intro mission from the demo, but it ends in a really crazy way. So I'm new to the Final Fantasy VII world. So what Sephiroth, it sets up pretty much his turning point, I guess it is, and it's pretty incredible. So it was a really, really, really like gut-wrenching scene and stuff like that. It was really a crazy start to the video game. And then you go to the following section after that is walking around this city Calm, and it's like a nice city. It feels like you're playing an old Morrowind game or something like that, walking around the world, but you're Cloud and the world's so vibrant, and there's a bunch of NPCs doing all sorts of things, and it's really, really impressive so far. So really living up to the hype and enjoying it a whole lot. So let's see what else I have to say. Yeah, I'm trying to keep my relationship good with Tifa. So you have these little relationship checks where you have to you can talk to one of your compatriots or your companions around the world in some instances. And depending on your reaction, they can have, or depending on what you say, they can have a different reaction to it. So you got to be nimble and quick on your feet when you're having these character talks in this game, because it has a little timer. It'll just automatically choose, I guess, one of them or the most default text that it can send to the character, and it might not necessarily do what you want it to. So you got to be conscious of that, apparently. So trying to keep my relationships good out here in the Final Fantasy VII world, Rebirth world, and my next mission is to go do something with Aerith. So I'm still kicking around Calm, having a great time, talking to Barrett. Told him I would buy him. I was going to buy him his first round after something, but so he was sitting in the bar. It's just really, really, really cool. They're doing a great job with the intro. The game's been moving at a lightning quick pace, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is really going up there for best game of the year for me pretty immediately, and that's for two reasons, because I really like it, and there's not a lot of games I played from 2024. But so Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the main focus of my video gaming right now. That's going to be the video game at the top of my mind when I'm thinking about playing some video games, and I have a little, I guess it would be nice to finish it before September. That'd be really, really nice, but finish it before Astrobot comes out. So that is a little bit of my tentative plan with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And what else have I done? So after finishing Final Fantasy VII Remake, I went on a little bit of a deep dive or a rabbit hole on what to play in the Final Fantasy VII world if I want to get more Final Fantasy VII. So I picked up the original game. It was on sale on PlayStation. So I have the Final Fantasy VII original. My plan here is to try to play up until the ending of Remake, so I don't want to spoil anything from Rebirth, and so I've heard it only takes a couple, maybe 3 or 4 hours to even get to the end of Remake, so I find that pretty interesting. I've already done the reactor section from I've already completed the reactor section that takes a longer time in the Remake, so I did the whole thing where I went up and armed the bomb. I fought the big robot, and then I had to get out of there in a certain amount of time. Then we went to the train station, rode the train. We just got off the train and going back to our hideout. That was the plan. So it's, I'm very familiar with what's going on in this game. Seeing it in a different context is really cool, and it is really amazing for this game coming out in, I think, 1997. So pretty amazing. I'm really seeing all the hype about the Final Fantasy VII world and really going into it. So let's see what I wrote. I wrote the music is an early standout. I've said that in every Final Fantasy VII game, but this one has more, I guess it's the old school music, so it's really cool and different in that kind of way. And I'm liking the combat so far. I had a little bit of a challenge with it early. I was getting, what can I say about it? My bracer handed to me or something like that. But I'm playing this game on normal, and I moved the setting. There's a setting in there for the ATB settings, and I changed that to weight. So instead of having more, it almost has like more real time style combat in this game if you don't change that setting. So that was a little bit, disorienting to me, and the enemy was attacking me quicker than I was thinking of what to do. So I wanted to change this to make it a little more like the experience from Remake, I guess, or Rebirth. But it is a little bit different. This one is all just kind of top-down controls. But I mean, these games are all having the same combat at the core of them, so that's pretty cool, and it's a nice carryover. So I've been having fun with this. This is something I'm just going to keep playing for a little bit and hopefully get to a stopping point. And then I'm mainly focusing on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth right now. But something else that I picked up that I've been making some progress in, and maybe 5 hours into, is a adjacent game to this. Well, I guess it's not adjacent. Well, it is adjacent, but this is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. So if you're a big fan of Final Fantasy VII, you can play this game. It's a prequel, and I bought this on the Switch. It follows the story of Zack Fair, who you get to see some at the end of Remake and in the beginning of Rebirth, and he's on the cover. So this follows this early story of Zack Fair, a young warrior admired by the boy destined to save the world, and he wants trust by men renowned as heroes of legend and loved by the girl who holds the fate of planet in her hands. The tale of Zack's dream and honor, the legacy that connects him to Cloud, is revealed in full in this grand saga that has broken the limits of an HD remaster. So this game, it's been remastered. This came out in 2022. This was a game that was on the PSP. So in this version, all graphics have been fully remastered in HD, bringing the game to the latest console generation. It has renewed 3D models, including characters and backgrounds, enriching the visual experience, improved battle system, providing a vastly smoother gameplay experience, fully voiced dialogue in both English and Japanese, and a newly arranged soundtrack from the original composer, Takeharu Ishimoto. So from what I've been playing in this game, I'm playing it on Switch. It runs perfectly fine on Switch. It's not going to look technically as good as the console is my assumption, but I'm really seeing no negative impact on playing it on the Switch, really, unless you're just really into the graphical fidelity or something like that. But being able to play this handheld has been really nice. It looks really good on the OLED, and this game has more simple combat than Rebirth and Remake, but it's still very enjoyable so far. So you can tell this is an older game just based on the mission structure and some of the things it's doing, but it still has a lot of charm to it, and is a very cool world to be in. And you're getting a good story, and they just are really, really good at the storytelling in here, being kind of fantastical, but then also having some realism in there and some real moments. So they do a really good job of being like video game, and then also having some real life stuff in there, which I think they blend very well. So I'm noticing that over playing some of these games, and getting to see some of the backstory is really, really cool. He's talking about, he has a big reverence for Sephiroth and how he's such a hero. So this is an early point in the timeline here, and you're going to get to see Cloud some apparently, and just really cool. And I like being able to have it on the go. So I am playing a lot of Final Fantasy right now. My main commitment is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but I'm playing these other ancillary games to flesh out the world more, and I've been really, really enjoying it. So these have been the main things I've been thinking about when picking up games. And the other game I want to tell you about, besides this Final Fantasy VII hype train, is Elden Ring. So I've been talking about Elden Ring on and off on this show for a long time, and I'm back just making some more progress on this, giving it more shots. I'm seeing more areas I've never been to. I watched some videos on, some tips for what to do and how to attack this game, I guess. And they're saying you really just need to be okay with dying, and you need to go try to fight the bigger enemies, because that's how you're going to level up easier. So really to quit focusing on, and that's really the main thing I've been doing, is just focusing on farming really weak enemies for their souls and trying to build them up. So I don't think that's negative to do, but I think if you want to make some headway in this game, you need to start really fighting the bigger enemies and really kind of start poking your neck out there and exploring some of these areas. So I've been doing some of that. I wandered into the underground, like an underground river. And that's something I've never been to before. And I've played this game for probably, 40, 50 hours maybe on other playthroughs now. And I'm on 5 or 6 on this playthrough. And I'm seeing areas right around me that I've never been to. So once I got to the underground, I got scared of how to get back. But you can just switch the map back to underground and the top world, and that's how you can still travel. But when I looked it up, I looked up that area because I was worried about it, and it says you need to be around level 50 or 60. So I went into a high level area, which I don't need to be in. So I'm back to exploring around Limgrave is what I need to stick to. So I'm going to try to hit some of those caves and areas around there and try to fight some of the bigger enemies. Has been my plan, and I've been having fun with it. So I'm playing a sword build. It's a vagabond maybe. Maybe that was I think I'm playing a vagabond. That's a sword guy. The astrologer is the magic person I was playing before. So I'm playing a vagabond. I'm doing the sword combat. I've been blocking. I've been slicing up people. I've been looking at windows. I've been upgrading my stats. So it's been really fun. I definitely love the Elden Ring in some way. I don't really know how far I'll ever get in this game, but it's been really fun, and I've been back playing it it's a good podcast game. It's a good game to I've been playing a lot of story games recently, a lot of Final Fantasies, a lot of RPGs, so it's a good game to just kind of get in there and you're just playing the game the whole time. So it's really, really fun for that. And Elden Ring is an excellent game if you didn't know it. And the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC is out right now, but you need to be at a certain point in the main game before you can open up the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. But I've been hearing really, really good things. I've watched Nextlander play some of that. I've watched a lot of people streaming some of the DLC, and you never know, maybe I'll be playing it someday. So those have been the games I've been playing. Just to give you a check-in, it is the year of the RPG on the Dep Lewis Show. That's been the main thing. So I've completed Final Fantasy VII Remake, and now I am on to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I need to finish Super Mario RPG, which I'm very close to doing, and I'm tired of saying that. So I really do need to finish that game. I'm going to make an emphasis on finishing that game, and then I'm going to move into Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door Remake, which I already own, and I just need to finish Super Mario RPG to play. So those are the main games that I'm trying to focus on finishing right now, really. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Super Mario RPG, and then the other games I'm playing are Final Fantasy VII Original, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion, and Elden Ring. I've also been playing a little bit of Super Monkey Ball, Banana Rumble, And I think that's been the majority of things I've been playing this week. But it's been a lot of Final Fantasy and a lot of Elden Ring. So it's been a very fun video game week for myself. So that's what I've been playing. And I'll be back next week to tell you more about what I've been playing in the first section of the show, as I always do. And that's going to wrap up this section. And what else do I want to say? It's the year of the RPG. That's basically just an emphasis on a genre for a year, thinking about those games more than I normally would. So it's been really, really fun. And I think I have opened up a new channel in my video game heart for RPGs. So that's going to wrap up the first section of the show. We're going to take a quick break. You're going to hear some music, and then we're going to come back for the mid-section where I tell you about what's going on around the video game world. So, go reheat your coffee, go pet your dog, go put some laundry in, put your shoes on to go for a walk, go get ready to go to the grocery store, go for a car ride, put the second section of this show on, and you're going to get all the best video game information that you can. So come right back after this music. Welcome back to the mid-section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 85. This is where I tell you about what's going on around the video game world, everything you need to know about. So the first thing I want to tell you about is an upcoming release. So if you're listening in real time, which hopefully you are because you're a very loyal Dep Lewis Show fan listener, the EA Sports College Football 25 releases on July 19, 2024 for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S, so only current gen, modern generation consoles. So hopefully that is going to lend to some really good quality for this game. It's going to cost you $69.99 US for the standard edition, and the deluxe edition is $99.99 US, but you can get early 3-day access with this. So I did see that, and they have really been promoting the deluxe edition. I've seen just on the storefronts from what I can tell. It's been a little bit difficult going to look at the price to get to the standard edition immediately. So the early access is really probably getting a lot of people to do that because there's a lot of hype going on with this game. Seen some people playing it, seen LeBron online playing it already, getting a pick six and things like that. So this game is looking like they're going to do the right thing with it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to pick this up yet, but it's something I'm definitely interested in and going to follow. So EA Sports College Football 25 releases next week, July 19, 2024. All right, something else going on is a video game called Concord. And this is an upcoming first-person hero shooter game developed by Firewalk Studios and published by Sony Interactive. So if you look at this, you're going to get some really heavy Overwatch vibes. It's going to be the comparison that everyone makes to this game, and rightfully so. It looks very, very similar, and it looks like Overwatch Guardians of the Galaxy. So two good things, and putting them together, I don't know how necessary that is, but it doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing, but just, whatever. This releases on August 23rd, 2024 for PS5 and Windows for $39.99 US. And I guess, a lot of video games are repackaged in different ways, and that's kind of the main thing most of these games are doing anyway. So if this is your cup of tea or your first introduction into this type of genre, it could be really great to you. So it looks like there's definitely some quality here. So I don't mean to be downplaying that. I did watch Nextlander play some of this, so I got a pretty good idea of what's going on. I watched them for about an hour. They were playing some of the closed beta that's taking place this weekend from July 12th to the 14th. So I don't know if that's still running today if you're listening in real time, but it's there's going to be, that was for the people who pre-ordered the game. But next weekend, so July 18th through the 21st, 2024, it's going to be an open beta. So this is for all PS5 and PC players. So I might see myself jumping in there on the PlayStation 5, assuming you don't have to pay for PlayStation Plus. But maybe you do with this game because you actually have to buy this game for $39.99. And more about this game, it's assemble your free gunner crew and travel the Concord Galaxy to compete with rival teams in a 5v5 character-driven first-person shooter for PlayStation 5 and PC. It's set in a vibrant, original sci-fi universe. Concord is a new team-based shooter where you assume the role of the crew of the North Star, a group of misfits, outlaws, and adventurers working as guns for hire. They're saying you can hand-pick your personal roster of free gunners and team up with friends and fellow mercenaries online to take on rival crews across spectacular worlds in the wilds of space in a range of objective and respawn-based modes. So Concord, there was also another, I guess it's like a Marvel-based one of these coming out later in the year. It's going to be some heavy competition for this. This one has a price tag on it, so that's the one interesting thing here. You would maybe assume this game would be free to play, but I think Overwatch did end up charging at some point, or for Overwatch 2, but I'm not really sure on the history there. I might be being a little bit fuzzy. I did maybe have to pay $40 to pay Overwatch when it first came out. And then I think it went free to play at some point. Then I think they charged for Overwatch 2 is I think how it went, but I am not all the way sure there. But this definitely looks cool. It just is striking how similar-ish some of the things are to Guardians of the Galaxy and Overwatch, but it looks like it could be pretty fun. I think the price tag is going to be the problem on that game, is my prediction. All right, so that's Concord. Xbox Game Pass has had some more confusing communications. They're going to tell you some updates with Xbox Game Pass, and I'm going to tell those to you here on the show. And basically all you need to know is it's getting a little bit more expensive. They're changing around some of the tiers, and I'll try to make sure I highlight the things I find most important here. But Xbox Game Pass, redefining of certain tiers, and later this year there will be a handful of price increases for various tiers. So starting on July 10th, 2024, so this has already happened, Game Pass for consoles will no longer be available for new members. So Game Pass for consoles, that must have been just a solo offering. Members who are already subscribed to Game Pass for console and have automatic payment renewal enabled will be able to continue to enjoy their membership. So it seems like you can stay grandfathered in, as they say. Who knows how long that'll be the case, but if you're really happy with your service and the price you're paying, I guess you can stay there, which is nice. And then also a new option, Xbox Game Pass Standard, will become available in the coming months. These changes will enable us to bring members more value and more great games to Game Pass. So let me tell you about the rest of these updates, and I'll give you a little bit of my thoughts. So starting September 12th, 2024, the new Xbox Game Pass Standard tier for new members will be $15 a month and will not include access to day one releases, EA Play, Game Pass for PC, and cloud gaming. So I think that's a pretty big change for this tier. And one of the main things to note, you're not getting day one access to a lot of the things you really would want to play. And Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which includes access to all bonuses now not included in the standard tier, is increasing its price from $17 a month to $20 a month. All the bonuses not included in the standard tier. Xbox Game Pass Core, which offers online access and a much smaller library of curated games, is changing its yearly from $60 to $75 US. The $10 monthly price for that tier, however, will remain unchanged. The $10 monthly, okay. And then PC Game Pass is increasing from $10 a month to $12 a month, but that tier will still include day one releases. So I think the main things you want to think about when you're going to Game Pass now is if you're going to use it on the console or the PC or both. I think that's one of your questions. I think the other one is if you really want to play the first party games day one, then you want to pay for that tier. And if you're not that adamant on playing those, you don't necessarily need to subscribe to that tier. And it kind of sounds like the first party games, if they don't come out on day one, they will come out to the other tiers of Game Pass at some point, hopefully within months or half a year or something like that. So there could be some time where you could be patient and that could get some value there. So it seems like those are the two big changes. It sounds like if you're on some of the stuff that with automatic renewal, you'll be able to stay in there. So that's something to be cognizant of as well. But they're raising the prices. They're trying to switch up their model a little bit. And because a lot of people were loving the free trials of Game Pass and things like that and playing the games on day one. And now Xbox actually has some games they're trying to sell. So they're trying to get the value a little more even between the Game Pass pricing and buying the full game. It seems like what's going on here. So it just you need to be more thoughtful as a consumer of how you're using the service, or you could just buy the game outright. They get you, the monthly thing is still going to be very useful here. You can subscribe for a month, which I think is what a lot of people do when you want to play a game on here. And so there's still variety here. There's still options. So I think there's still some good stuff with Game Pass. My subscription to it runs out July 31st. I'm not going to renew it. And I've found it kind of useful, but nothing too intense. None of my favorite games have come from there or anything like that. And I really don't like paying for subscriptions in general. So that's an Xbox Game Pass update. So let's see what else is going on around the video game world. Nintendo has been teasing something they don't normally do, and this is a game called Emio, E-M-I-O, for Nintendo Switch. And Nintendo posted a trailer on July 10th, 2024, teasing this. They're asking, who is Emio? And we're asking the same thing. It's a person with a paper bag over their head. It looks very spooky. Is this a Nintendo developed game, or is it just a Nintendo published game? It's a horror game, something Nintendo hasn't done in a long time. It's a mature rated game, so that's something different here. So something interesting for the end of the Nintendo Switch life cycle, and Nintendo putting a little mystery out there, a little teaser thing. So there's almost 500 views on the trailer. I really don't think this will be something I'm interested in, and I just will be interested to see what it is, though. I wonder if it really is a horror game. I wonder if this is a bait and switch of some kind, where this scary looking character is actually in some type of colorful, vibrant world of a platformer or something like that. But Emio for Switch is very interesting, and I don't know when we're going to get more information on it, but if you listen to the Dep Lewis Show every week, you'll definitely hear about it again. So what else has been going on? A new game has been announced. It's called Double Dragon Revive. This is a new 3D game in the veteran beat-em-up series published by Dragon Ball FighterZ. Oh yeah, okay. Published by Arc Systems Work, who has also published games like Dragon Ball FighterZ and Guilty Gear Strike. And this game is being developed by Yuke's, who's the developer who made AEW Fight Forever. The Double Dragon series has redefined the belt scroll action genre ever since it hit the arcades in 1987. So a lot of pedigree here. I really like the term belt scroll action genre. I don't think I've heard that before, and I don't know if that's just particular to Double Dragon's branding or if other games call themselves belt scrollers, but I kind of get what they're going for with that. Now it returns as Double Dragon Revive, thanks to the passionate support of retro fans, game fans over the years. This game provides a modern belt scroll action experience with exhilarating gameplay, making full use of Arc System Works' experience with fighting game development. This is set for PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Steam in 2025. So what did I want to say about this? I think the title of this, just from typing it a few times in here, Double Dragon Revive, I think the revive, it looks strange. I think a lot of people are going to want to type revival, but that's just something nitpicky. But it looks odd on the page. It looks like a typo for some reason from looking at it, but I don't know. I guess revive is maybe a move in the game, or it's not too complicated to think of what a revive can be, but maybe it's some more more interesting take on a revive or something, or it's more prominent or something like that. But Double Dragon Revive has been announced. I do have some interest in the Double Dragon franchise. It's not something I haven't played before, but I definitely like some of the beat 'em up style, like old classic arcade games. So it could be something cool to check out or get into at some point. So what else is going on in the news world, the video game news? This one is big time company news. The Shift Up Corporation goes public. So this is a South Korean developer, and they develop games. They develop Stellar Blade, and they also have a popular mobile game titled Goddess of Victory. And it's like Nike or Nikki. But Stellar Blade has now sold more than 1 million copies and may have a sequel along with a PC version, so that's been a success for them. And so on their first day of going public in the Shift Up Corp, they've raised over $320 million in its first day of trade after its initial public offering. So seems like a pretty good thing for them, and hopefully they can develop as a developer and grow over time. And their first, I guess, well, they have their big mobile game, and then they have their pretty successful console game, and now they're looking to do some more things. So very interesting there. Good for Shift Up Corp, and congrats on the raising $300 million. All right, some Mortal Kombat 1 news. Well, let's back to Stellar Blade. That is something I have interest in playing. I played the demo and really, really enjoyed it, and if that game goes on a sale at some point, I might want to pick it up. And same with this next game, something I've never played when it first came out, Mortal Kombat 1. Something I'd like to play, possibly. I really do love Mortal Kombat. Just haven't played much since 11. And there's some news coming out for this. So Ed Boon from NetherRealm Studios has revealed Mortal Kombat 1 is set for some big balance changes and revealed a new look at upcoming DLC character Takeda, T-A-K-E-D-A. I'm talking about how much I love Mortal Kombat, but I'm not familiar with this character. But they'll be playable at the upcoming EVO fighting game tournament during the weekend of July 19th. And this also includes upcoming bug fixes and a balance patch with significant improvements to various characters in the game. So Takeda is the last of the Combat Pack 1 DLC characters, and there is some speculation going around right now around the 6 DLC characters from Combat Pack 2, but that's not been confirmed. More info is going to be coming from the NetherRealm Studios around this game at the San Diego Comic-Con 2024 at a panel for NetherRealm on July 26, 2024. So a couple weeks away from getting some more Mortal Kombat 1 news or some significant update to that game, it seems like. And then there was a Mortal Kombat 2 movie is due out October 24th, 2024. So that's just a line in that article I saw, and I didn't really know there was a Mortal Kombat 1 movie out, but this one's coming out in October, so I just wanted to let you know about that too. All right, the last bit of news I have for you today is around Gran Turismo 7. It is getting a free update in July 2024. It's called Patch 1.49. There's an update trailer for this. Polyphony Digital teases a significant Gran Turismo 7 PS5, PS4 update, bringing a new track, lots more cars, new physics, and expanded GT Sophie AI compatibility to additional circuits. They have a new racetrack is a returning entry from the PS3 Gran Turismo 6. It also teases new physics but does not expand on what it means. And this will be available for free on July 25th, 2024. So really cool there. Gran Turismo's a series I've never played. I really do love the Forza series on the Xbox side, and I play my PlayStation a lot more these days, so I've had some interest in playing Gran Turismo 7. It's on sale a lot of times for $39.99 or maybe a little bit even cheaper. So it's something I could pick up in the future and get into some more racing. But I really have been missing some Forza, and hopefully we'll get some more Forza news at some point, because I guess it's been last year that other one just came out, but I guess that's true. But all right, I do like some racing games. So that's going to wrap up the news for today. Let me just go back over what I've talked about. So I've told you about EA Sports College Football 2025 comes out July 19th, 2024. Talked about Concord. There's a beta going on for that, and an upcoming open beta. Xbox Game Pass is having some changes to that, so be aware there. Emio for Switch is something the whole world is watching and waiting to hear more about. Double Dragon Revive has been announced. The Shift Up Corporation has gone public, so you can go support them if you'd like to. Mortal Kombat 1 has some updates coming, and then Gran Turismo 7 has some updates coming as well. So that is all the best video game news and information I've seen this week and things I wanted to tell you about. And, come back every week on the show, and I'll scour the internet and articles and people talking and people's pages and things like that for all the information of the video game world. So we're going to take one more break. You're going to hear some more lovely break music. And then we're going to come back for the final section of the show, the Miscellaneous Talk section, where I can talk about anything outside of the video game world. So going to get into the worldwide world of sports as we always do. And that's the plan. So, go take another quick break and come back for the final section of Dep Lewis Show 85 after this. Welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 85. This is the Miscellaneous Talk section where I can talk about anything outside the video game world. So for today, as I always like to do, I want to do a sports check-in with all my favorite teams, tell you what's going on, and some of my thoughts on the state of all these franchises. So the Carolina Panthers, they opened the season at New Orleans, September 8th, 2024, 1 p.m. on Fox. That is really the only thing I am looking forward to right now with the Panthers, besides some off-season news or when training camp starts. But that's the main focus right now. Looking for that first game in September, and it's only a couple months away at this point. So Carolina Panthers, I saw somebody predicting them to have 5 wins. I would like that to be the case, and I think it's sad that I would like that to be the case. So I think that's sad. I don't know if they'll get that many wins. And what was it, 2 wins last year? And I don't even know. Those were pretty hard-fought games. So I don't know what to expect. I was bamboozled a little bit extra last season, and I am approaching the season with caution with the Carolina Panthers. All right, the Charlotte Hornets, since I'm a North Carolina resident now, I'm a fan of the Charlotte Hornets a little bit. And their news is they signed Taj Gibson. So just bringing a veteran presence in, a big guy. I don't think that's he's been around the league a long time. I wouldn't really know he was still in the league. But, good for Taj Gibson. Good for the young guys. He's been around a long time. So he definitely has some knowledge to impart, and hopefully has some games to still play. But my favorite NBA team is the Atlanta Hawks. Summer League's been going on, so that's been all kind of the rave with the NBA right now, besides Team USA basketball. And seeing some Zachary Ricochet for the Hawks in Summer League has been looking really good, been really impressive. Looking like he has some handles, looking like he can finish at the rim. I don't think I've really seen any shooting yet, but he's a big guy, he's lanky, and I'm getting a little bit excited about him. So Zachary Ricochet looking very, very good for the Atlanta Hawks and having a nice Summer League, which really doesn't, I don't know, it's just like anything. You can get some information from it, you can't. Certain players can play well and then not translate to the league. Some players will play bad and then it'll translate. Nothing's 100%, but it's nice to see some of his game on display, and I think that's better than not. So, and he's been showing better than not. So, props to Ricochet. I'm going to keep saying his name so hopefully I can remember it and be a pro at saying it one day. All right, so the Atlanta Braves, my favorite baseball team in the universe. What's been going on with them? Last Sunday, everything since last week, they were playing the Phillies last Sunday after the podcast, and the Braves were 48-39 before this game. They were the 8th best in the MLB and 9 back from the Phillies in the division. So, in the grand scheme of things, the Braves are doing pretty good. Division-wise, not doing so good because the Phillies have been so strong. But did the Braves win last Sunday? Yes, the Braves won 6-0. So, great effort there to end the week with the Phillies. And then this week, they've been on the West Coast playing some really late games. So it's been really hard for me to been watching with one eye open over here for some of the endings of some of these. But the Braves have been playing the Diamondbacks early in the week, so they've been playing them Monday through Thursday in this past week, and the Braves, they won, lost, and lost. So split the series with the Diamondbacks early in the week, and then for the weekend they've been playing the Padres, and they've split those so far. So the Braves won Friday night, and they lost last night. was the case to the Padres. Let me look at that real quick, make sure that was the case. Oh. Yep, that was the case. So the Braves played the Padres again today at 4:10, so in the afternoon, a little bit. Usually I'm recording the podcast and then having about an hour between the game, but the Braves are playing at 4:10 standard Eastern Standard Time today to end the week, and that will actually end the first half of the season. So congrats to the Braves. Hopefully they'll enjoy the All-Star break. So the All-Star break is coming up to begin the week next week. So Home Run Derby is on Monday, July 15th, 2024. Marcelo Ozuna is competing in that. Adolis Garcia is in that as well, among some others. The lineup looks really, really good and really strong for the Home Run Derby. And then the All-Star game is on Tuesday, July 16th, 2024, so the following day. And friend of the show, Pab, will be at the All-Star game, so that's very exciting. And I can get some on-the-ground reports of how the All-Star game was, and pretty cool. He's going to get to go to that. And then his other friends actually going to the Home Run Derby on Monday, so going to get some good insight on what's going on and how fun it was, and definitely going to be tuned into those and watching them and looking for my friends in the stand. So after the All-Star break, the Braves are back in Atlanta starting July 19th. So what day is that? It's 5 days away from now. What's that going to be, Thursday? No, it's going to be Friday. So the Braves are going to get some time off. So the sports books are going to be sad. They're going to be closed. I'm not going to have any baseball to watch, and I'm going to have to play some video games or something like that, or do something else. But the Braves will be back July 19th, 2024 in Atlanta against the Cardinals at 7:20. So that's good to know. The Braves game today. They'll have a whole week before pretty much a whole week before some more Braves games. So that is the sports update for today. So just wanted to tell you what's going on with all my favorite teams, mainly just in the midst of baseball season, watching some summer league in the basketball, and then getting prepared for football season, which is always going to be fun. But in the midst of baseball season is my favorite place to be. And, hopefully the Braves are going to come out of the second half hot. And that is my hope, and can stay healthy and no more injuries. Maybe even pick up a player. That'd be nice. So we'll see. So I've told you about all my teams, the Panthers, the Hornets, the Hawks, and the Braves. And, wishing much success to all of them and to all of you as well out there in the world. So that's going to wrap up the Miscellaneous Talk section of this show. Keep it short and sweet, tell you about all my favorite teams, and going to wrap up the entire show. So I'm going to reiterate some promotional talk from the beginning. Please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. If you'd like to support the show financially, at Dep Lewis Show on Venmo is available for direct payments, and patreon.com/Dep Lewis Show if you'd like to subscribe monthly. So please go check that out and check out the offerings there. And I appreciate any funds on Venmo, and also appreciate any subscriptions on Patreon. And I plan to develop the offerings on Patreon over time. So go check out both of those pages, and I just appreciate you doing anything to help me out in any way. Listening to this show is good enough, and just thank you so much for listening, and hopefully you'll come back for another week. I really enjoy doing this, as I always like to say. And I just like to reiterate, the show's just a weekly check-in about the video games I'm enjoying. I'm a longtime video gamer. I'm generally pretty positive. I like to try different things and have a whole lot of fun with it. So I come here and tell you about that each week. And then I try to tell you what's going on around the video game world. There's no way I can tell you all the news or information about all the games, but I tell you about all the things I find interesting, the things I think are most important going around the video game world from my perspective. So you're getting some of my thoughts each week on games. You're getting my thoughts on what's going on around the video game world and perspective on that. And then the Miscellaneous Talk section of the show, the final section, can be whatever I want to talk to you about outside the video game world. So that's mainly been sports for a while. I used to do some kind of book talk and some comedy talk on there, but I really do enjoy talking sports. It's probably one of my other favorite forms of entertainment besides video games, and it's just been really fun to come here and talk about it every week. So I know you just listened to that whole show, but just reiterating what I'm focused on here. So just thank you for being a listener. Hope you have a great week out there in the world. Hope you play some games. Hope you buy a new game. Hope someone gives you a game. Hope you go to a sports game. Hope you see some baseball. And hope you have some good time off from the baseball. And they'll be back on next Friday. And I'll be back next Sunday. Hope you have a great week out there in the world. Thank you for listening to the Dep Lewis Show. And I'll see you next time.